Whether planning a family excursion or interesting date, the big question always pops up: where to go? Don't stress. We're about to guide you to some entertaining answers.
Hello and welcome to Discover Wisconsin.
Beauty awaits around each bend. The enchantment never ends. For every season there's another reason for you to come discover Wisconsin.
You know, friends of mine are always saying, hey, let's go on a tour. Well, some of them are just plain lame. But once in a while, you find a winner. Well, today I'm getting the skinny on Sprecher Brewing Company. I'm going undercover as a tour trainee.
Hi.
Hi, how are you? How can I help you?
My name's Emmy, and I'm your new tour guide trainee.
Awesome. I'm Michelle. I'm going to be training you today. Let's get you outfitted.
Excellent.
We also have a tour sheet here for you to follow along.
Ooh, that sounds good.
So this is kind of where the tour starts. You tell them about the fact that we're a food-grade facility and that this is our microbiologist lab. And we also have our crust up here on the wall. You want to make sure that you're talking about all of these pictures. You want to make sure that you're telling them that we were here in 1985. We came to the elevator company, which this used to be, in 1994. All right, so this is the brew house. This is where it all happens. So you want to make sure and focus on the fact that we support local. Local is huge.
Got it.
Breeze is a local company. We get our grain there. It goes to the mill, then the mash tun. Then we sprinkle sparge water on it to go into the lauter tun. After that, it's going to go up the conveyor belt, and it's going to hit into the trailer.
Breeze, mash tun, sparge water, lauter tin, and
Lauter tun, yes.
Lauter tun. Now here?
Yep, that's the spent grain. Go ahead. You're getting trained. Try it out.
All right.
It's not going to taste like anything.
Whoa, there's more to this tour guide job than I thought.
This is going to be
mash tun.
This is going to be the mash tun.
Okay.
Then you're going to have the lauter tun, and then you're going to go into the brew kettle, and that's where you're going to add all your flavor. So that's really important to remember.
Okay.
And again, stay on the local factor. We love to support local.
And lauter ton, not looter.
Yes. All right, so this is the hot wort tank. This is important because the brew kettle, it comes from the fire brewing, local, you know all that.
Yeah.
It goes into the hot wort tank. It then goes through a cooling system, add yeast, add oxygen, and you're ready to go into the lager cellar. Let's go.
All right. In the wort tank, yeast and oxygen and
Okay, so we're in the lager cellar now. This is where we age our products, so that's important. You look a little cold. It is 34 degrees in here, so you want to make sure and get out of here. So let's go to the bottling line.
sounds good.
All right, so basically now that the bottles come around, they go down there. They're going to follow the boxes. They're going to go over there and get printed with a Julian code. As you take it around there, it's going to turn around, and the track's going to turn it. It's going to get sanitized, then it's going to go into the filling room. Once it's done in the filling room, it's going to get the label on it. Once it goes to the labeler, it's going to go down the line, drop into the box, over the bridge, and it's all done.
Over the bridge down the Yellow Brick Road.
Basically.
And now we get a beer, right?
Yeah, now you can have a beer.
All right. Let's try a hard root beer on for size. You were awesome. I can't wait for my first tour. Let's go.
You'll be great.
After reading and studying my Sprecher tour guide information, I am back and ready to give my very first tour. And I think they're waiting for me.
We began with some safety tips and Sprecher's rich history before the tour headed for the brew house.
All right. So this is the Sprecher Brew House. This is where all of our products get their start. That being said, I'm not quite done with the history. I've got one more fun fact, but it is much older and has nothing to do with Sprecher. That being said, in 1516, there was a Bavarian purity law passed, which mandated there are only 4 ingredients to be used in the making of beer. Who knows those 4 ingredients? Shout them on out. They've got the aroma, the bitterness, and they're also a natural preservative, which is why they've stood the
Hey,
test of
this
time for
wasn't
years
in my
to make
training, but it sure was interesting. Glad my guide knew his stuff.
Interestingly enough, Sprecher has been making beer much longer than they've been making soda.
And the fun fact is they sell much more root beer than they do any beer in stock.
Assistant here.
I was getting the hang of this job, and I was ready to share my brew knowledge.
How many years was it?
Darn it, this was harder than it looked.
Now this is what they've been waiting for. Enjoy.
That's the way to end a tour.
Now that's what I call a tour with an inside perspective. A bottle of Sprecher will never taste the same with all that I've learned. I promise we're gonna have just as much fun on the next one.
Need help planning your premier tour? Just visit discoverwisconsin.com and choose Sprecher Brewery as your destination to see more of our tour. Welcome back to our premier tours on Discover Wisconsin.
So what do you blend with brewed refreshments? Well, if you live in Wisconsin, it's Packers football. And what better way to tease your thirst for gridiron action than with a tour of, oh yeah, this is Lambeau Field. What is it that brings so many thousands of people to get a tour here at Lambeau every year?
The biggest thing that people come here and they want to see, it's the tunnel.
You get to live the tunnel as if you were a true player.
As if you were a player running down the tunnel getting ready to go and play on the field.
I can't wait, but let's save the tunnel and check in with our expert tour guide, Don.
When you come to Lambeau Field, you get 18 inches of pure aluminum pleasure for 3.5 hours. 56,111 aluminum bleacher seats, which, by the way, are the finest bleacher seats in the entire NFL, because they're the only bleacher seats left in the entire NFL. Since 1960, we've been sold out on a season ticket basis. And if I put one of your names on the list today, 105,000 names on the waiting list ahead of you, which is amazing for a city the size of Green Bay.
Green Bay, by far the smallest American city to host a professional sports franchise. Lucky for us, it was also the birthplace of a very important figure in Packers lore.
Got a job with a place called the Indian Packing Company, eventually ran into George Calhoun, the sports editor of our local paper. They formed the team. Come August 11th this year, we'll be here 94 years because of curling.
And we all know who this next guy is.
Presumably the greatest coach in the history of the NFL, Vince Lombardi. The Packers from 1948 to 1958 were one of the worst teams in the NFL. No one else would come to Green Bay, Wisconsin. He stayed for 9 years as our head coach. In the last 7, he won 5 NFL championships, won 3 in a row. In fact, Coach McCarthy's office overlooks the plaza. How'd you like to be the head coach of the Packers? Yeah. Motivating every morning to come and see 20 feet of Vince and 20 feet of Curly standing you. So.
I have goosebumps just from hearing these stories, and it's not because it's cold out here.
But who am I kidding? Like anyone who's been to Lambeau, I know it can get a lot colder. I mean, this is the frozen tundra.
One of the greatest games in the history of the NFL was played there. It's called the Ice Bowl, December 31st, 1967. A wind chill considered to be somewhere between -47 and -50 below. The coldest game in the history of the NFL. Bart Starr snuck in from the 1-yard line with 13 seconds left to send the Packers to Super Bowl II. That leads us to that great field and what it's really all about.
To the field. Could that mean it's time for, yes, the tunnel?
And only the Packers come out through this tunnel. As we get about 3/4 of the way down, you're going to see some red brick on the floor. Inside that brick is the concrete that came from the Old North Tunnel. Coach Lombardi walked that.
Wow.
Bart Starr, Ray Nitschke, Brett, Reggie. From Union Grove High School, number 19.
Hi, Emmy.
Nice to meet you.
Every spring, we actually kill off the grass and mechanically remove it and start over. It is natural grass, reinforced or stabilized with synthetic fibers.
And it's not just the field itself that updates its look. Even the greatest sports landmarks need the occasional facelift. Lambeau has had many renovations. Its latest began in 2011, highlighted by a new HD scoreboard and some pretty spectacular views from up top.
It's one of the iconic sports venues that everybody needs to go to in their life.
Whether you're a Packer fan or not.
Whether you're a Packer fan or not, we get a lot of them. It's very unique, very colorful, and very important to a lot of people here. So.
Want to see more of this National Football League landmark? Just visit our website and choose Lambeau Field as your destination.
Gridiron action isn't the only iron action in Wisconsin, as we're about to discover on our next tour. And I bet it's something you use every day. Any guesses?
We're back, guiding you to more premier tours on Discover Wisconsin.
If you've ever used a kitchen sink, bathtub, or toilet, and I'm hoping all of you have, you probably know the name of our next tour. Well, the Kohler factory tour proves to be one of the best manufacturing tours you can see,
for free right here in Wisconsin. And since I've been on the tour, I figured I'd go check out the rest of Kohler, and we'll meet you after the tour. If free admission wasn't enough, Kohler's Industry in Action Factory Tour is a completely immersive look into the production process. So put on your safety glasses and meet your tour guide, Jim.
We made pretty close to 135 different products here at Kohler. Depending on the size and how many pieces, anywhere from 8,000 to 10,000 pieces a week goes through this kiln. It runs on gas, about 2,100 degrees Fahrenheit. 3 basic colors, our most popular colors, which is white, biscuit, and almond. We still have human sprayers, very important here at Kohler. He's inspecting that piece. He's got a level to make sure it's the right angle, all the water goes out the outlet. Now he's going to put the Kohler name on. And
wow, Jim knows a lot about Kohler. It must help being part of its 140-year history.
I started here in Kohler in 1959, retired in 2004, and I was retired 2 days, living a good life, right? Wanted to know if I'd be a tour guide, and I've been doing it ever since. Now I'm semi-retired.
How cool! All Kohler tour guides are retirees. No wonder they know so much. Meanwhile, I was retiring to the many amazing shops.
Okay, this is our studio right here where we put the ink patterns on. We have Mary on the right, we have Kathy on the left in green. Watch them put that ink pattern on.
Pretty cool, Jim. But I think it's time to bring the heat.
As you can tell, this is one of the cleanest foundries in the world because of our air system. Years ago, you couldn't see the ceiling. That iron right now is 2,700 degrees Fahrenheit. Anywhere from 280 to 300 pourings an hour. Stainless steel, hardened copper, and we have polyurethane patterns. This pattern weighs 5,000 pounds. We're going to see the machine just treat it like a toy.
Yeah, I thought I remembered something like...
Please stay in the yellow lines, okay?
Giant robots.
It sprays the whole entire tub. After this is completed, it's going to go to a dryer, a coat of enamel, oven, coating enamel, oven, cooling system on both sides. And then it goes by a gentleman, gets the final inspection. The robotic enamel shop, here they can do a tub every 6 to 8 seconds. Over here it's done by hand. It takes about 15 minutes per tub. Our oven is 2,100 degrees Fahrenheit.
Wow, these guys look a bit hot. Apparently, that's the price of mastering an art form.
They're going to put 3 coats on the tub. It's basically 30 pounds of enamel per tub. It takes a long time to become a good enameler. This is the brass foundry that used to be liquid just a couple seconds ago. Over here, they're still doing it by hand. He's pouring it liquid. Within about 10 or 12 seconds, it's a solid piece.
While the factory tour in itself proves worth a trip to Kohler, there's a lot more to this Wisconsin destination.
The American Club was built in 1918 to house workers that worked for Kohler in the early years.
That was before 1981, when it was renovated into a world-class luxury hotel. Luxury in Kohler is an understatement. From fine dining to world-class golf courses and, of course, the Kohler Water Spa. Oh, you found me. I was just unwinding at the spa after visiting the Kohler area. So if you need tips on where to stay, shop, or dine when you visit, just head to our website and choose Kohler as your destination. Now, where should we go on our next tour? Now, this gives me an idea. You're gonna wanna stick around for this one. We're wrapping up our tour of tours on Discover Wisconsin. At last, it's your chance to explore old world tradition with a taste of elegance. Any guesses what we're diving into next? We'll freshen up that tasting palate.
Well, the winery was built in 1858 as a winery by a German family. They were here for 2 generations, made wine, and then Prohibition came along, so then no wine was made for quite a while. And then in 1972, my parents, Bob and Joanne Wallersheim, purchased the property, named it Wallersheim Winery, and the rest is history.
Blending that history with today's refinements in winemaking, our Wallersheim Winery tour began in the old carriage house, crafted back in 1867. Our tour guide Ellie previewed what to expect from ground to glass in revealing every stage of the winemaking process. It all begins in the ground, with growing select grapes that are suited for the soil and weather. Plus, the southwest sloping ground at Wollersheim, overlooking the Wisconsin River, is ideal for growing grapes for a number of reasons.
There's nice airflow up there to keep the grapes dry, and also we're on an increased drainage. Vines don't like rain, we call it wet feet. They have extensive root systems that can span 25 feet to really get the moisture that they need to grow.
The grapes, well, they end up at our next stop, the fermentation room. Ellie explains some of the variations in the fermentation process, where they convert sugars in the grapes into alcohol to make different kinds of wines.
We have Marechal Foch grapes, Léomio grapes, and those are French-American hybrids. And we also have St. Pepin and Cross grapes, and those are American hybrids.
But the real essence of what happens in the fermentation room comes from the refined hand of their French-born winemaker, Philippe, who uses generations of experience infused with a genuine passion.
Sharing our knowledge with everybody, explaining how to taste wine, how to buy wine, how to enjoy wine, pairing wine and food. Yeah, it goes back to our farming background of we are grape farmer and we like to share that.
And some of what they share is their pride in crafting Wollersheim's award-winning wines.
But coming to Wollersheim Winery, it's an experience by itself. It's like stepping back in Europe. You know, you could be in France, you could be in Germany, you could be in Spain. Stone building, old world, great vineyard, beautiful roses, and friendly people and great wine.
Next, we went further back into the cool limestone cellars where huge oak barrels were doing their aging part to support the old saying, no wine before it's time.
French oak gives it more of a buttery vanilla finish to the wine. You can really taste that in our Chardonnay. The American oak gives it more of a robust backbone to our wine. You can really taste that in our red port.
They age 6 types of wines in the cellars, ranging from Domaine du Sac at 5 months to 13 months for their full-bodied red port. Finally, the real appreciation for all that aging began with the fun upstairs in the tasting room.
Okay, now you want to smell it. Smell out all that citrus. Now you can take a smell again.
We savored our way through the white and red wine tastings as Ellie taught us how to use our noses, eyes, and palates to appreciate the aromas and bouquets of Wollersheim's wines.
Cheers! Cheers! Cheers!
And of course, we had to tour the gift shop to take home some of our newfound knowledge. Tell us what your favorite Wollersheim wine is on our Facebook wall and begin planning your winery tour on our website. Just choose Wollersheim as your destination.
Enjoy.
Now this is how you end a tour. Life is meant to be savored like a fine wine, right?
Right.
I'm Emmy Fink. Now go round up your family and friends and savor the new people and new places, interesting outings that you can enjoy on any one of these premier Wisconsin tours. Cheers!
Cheers!
You know, Wisconsin is filled with so many exciting things to do.
So travel Wisconsin and find out for yourself.
There's a destination just waiting to be discovered by you.
For more information and bonus video from the episode, go to discoverwisconsin.com. While you're there, click on the Cadiddle link to watch entire episodes from this season or past seasons. And don't forget, follow us on Facebook, Twitter, and Discover Wisconsin Radio all across the state.